Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 2 for DynamicDiscs.tv. Thanks so much for watching our first episode. We have so much positive feedback and comments all over the place. It was awesome. It really gets me and Eric pumped up to do even more of these, so thanks for that. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to this channel, the Dynamic Discs YouTube channel, and go ahead and share it to different places like Google Plus and Twitter and stuff like that. If you happen to be watching this on Facebook, make sure you share it and like it there as well. So Eric, tell us about episode 2. What are we going to cover?
Well, we got a lot of good stuff this week. We talked about playing in the rain. I've heard a lot of questions on, how to improve my game in the rain. It's not the easiest thing to do is play in the rain. A lot of it's basic information, but it's really good information. Then we talked about the rule 802.03, marking your lie, which is a very important rule out there a lot of people aren't familiar with. The disc that we chose this week for the Is This Disc Right For You is the Westside Discs King, which is a great disc. And then finally we did a spin putt versus push putt, which is best for you.
Awesome. And I do a product review for the Ranger bag, and we have an awesome interview coming up with Paul McBeth while we were out at the Oklahoma Open this year. So let's get right into it.
All right, let's talk a little bit about rain play today. How to improve your game, how to knock off a couple strokes when it's wet conditions or a downfall. For me, I like to carry an umbrella. I think it's a must to have an umbrella in the bag to keep your bag dry, to keep yourself dry when you're not throwing. Another thing that's very important is towels. You can't have enough towels in your bag. I usually, if it's raining or any kind of wet conditions, like if it's dewy or anything like that in the mornings, I'll fill my top of my Ranger bag to the top with towels. I have all kinds of towels and cycle them in and out. So when one gets a little too wet, I can put it aside and pull out a brand new dry one. So my discs aren't just completely soaked. Another great tip is the Dynamic Discs Dirt Bag. These things are a lifesaver if it's wet. Here's a little secret about them. Something else I do. I'll go to any sporting goods shop, I'll have this. It's climber's chalk. It's the white powdery chalky substance that I mix in with my dirt bag. So it creates kind of like a powdery substance that I can put on my hands and my disc for better grip. So what I'll do, if I throw my shot and I mark it, pick it up, I'll dry it off, towel it off nice, as dry as you can get it. And then I'll take the dirt bag and I'll just slap it on there a few times. You can actually see the powder coming off of the disc there, and it creates a nice grippy area for me to hold on to. Nice easy releases, so I'm not shanking all over the course. It just won't come out early, it won't come out late. So it really helps with that. Another thing is when you're on the course playing, you're throwing your tee shot or even your approaches, remember to slow down. Don't speed through it like you normally would. This is a great way to shave some strokes on the course.
The backpack style bag has become a very popular choice for a lot of disc golfers, and the Dynamic Disc Ranger bag is one of those choices. Let's take a look at some of the features and benefit of the Ranger bag. On deck putter pocket holds 2 putters for quick and easy access. In the front, we have a flap that you can close to protect your discs, but there's also Velcro in there so that when you're ready to play, you have easy access to your discs. The compartment can hold anywhere from 18 to 20 discs, depending on what mold you put in there. A side storage bag for items like dirt bags, sunglasses, and even a side pocket for your mini and some pencils. On this side, we have a spot where you can put your towel. You can clip that on there. Over here are 2 pockets where you can either use it as a place to store your collapsible stool, where it's got a nice secure little clip here, or you can take this out and that can be used as a drink holder. And then of course here you have a large size drink holder ready to go. The back is ergonomically designed so that there allows for ventilation on your back while you wear the bag. Water resistant bottom material with reinforced feet to keep your bag off the ground. A second pocket for items such as cell phone or keys. A dedicated bag tag loop. Oversized reinforced haul handle for ease of operation. At the top of the Ranger bag is a huge compartment with plenty of space for extras, such as a couple more discs, some more minis, a dynamic disc beanie, a golden retriever, a dynamic disc koozie, and a lightweight hoodie. We also have a mesh zipper pocket where you can secure things like cell phones or keys. Well, there you go, guys, the Dynamic Disc Ranger bag. As you can see, comes in a variety of colors. Make sure you check online to see which colors are available. The Ranger bag goes for $174.99 at dynamicdiscs.net. .03 marking your lie. Let's check it out right here. We got a nice tee shot right here in the fairway. I see a lot of casual players just simply walk up and, flip their disc during casual rounds. This is perfectly fine if you're just out playing with your buddies and whatnot. But if you're playing a PDGA sanctioned event, you have to either mark your lie or throw from the disc. My personal preference, if I'm throwing an approach shot, is to just go ahead and leave my disc there unless I'm using that particular disc. The reason why, mentally, it's a bigger target for me to have to hit as opposed to a little mini. But if you do prefer to mark it with a mini, that's perfectly fine. Here's how you do it. You simply walk up to the disc directly in line with the basket and mark it. You want to put it directly in front of the disc, touching the tip of the disc. After you do that, you pick up, throwing from the mini. You must be directly behind it. You cannot touch it. You cannot be to the right, you cannot be to the left of it. Whether it's a standstill shot or a run up, you must stay behind the mini. If your lie is in the fairway, that's the only time you have the option to use the disc or a mini. If you're stuck up in a tree or if you throw OB, that's when you must establish a new lie and you must use a mini during PDGA sanctioned events. If you're up in a tree like this shot right here, the way to mark it is directly below it on the plane surface. And if you're OB, the way to mark it is you take your meter from the last place you were in bounds. That is rule 802.03. Go to pdga.com to learn more about this rule and more. In this segment of Is This Disc Right For You?, we're testing out the King from Westside Discs. The King is a very high-speed driver. It is a speed 14, glide 5, turn -1, and a fade of 4. I don't really recommend this disc if you're a beginner or you don't have a whole lot of arm speed. If you're an advanced or up player, I definitely would recommend if you want to get a little bit more distance out of your shots. I really like this disc for tailwind or if it's a left or right wind and not a lot of trees, and I've got a lot of room to work with for big distance shots. Let's see it in flight.
Denise Cameron from Team Latitude 64 Golf Discs, and I'm going to help show how the King, Westside Discs King, flies for me. I like to practice pretty much daily and I play 2 to 3 tournaments a month. My maximum distance is about 325 to 350, which is about where I can get this disc on a good day. I like to throw it a little lighter weight and I prefer it to be a little seasoned, a little beat in. I can get a little more power behind it. And I like this disc for longer air shots where I get a decent amount of fade at the end.
I'm here with Paul McBeth. Now, Paul, for 2014, let's see, 3-time world champion. From my point of view, you've had a pretty good year. But tell everybody maybe some highs and lows of 2014 for you.
I mean, it's been a pretty good year. 4 national tours, 2 majors, not as many as last year, but I mean, I was more consistent in the majors this year. 3rd, a 2nd, and 2 firsts. So I mean, that was a lot better and the most NT wins I've had all year, or of any year. So you could, I guess, say it's been a pretty good year.
Yeah. Did you hit every goal that you really set for yourself for 2014?
Yeah, and some. I think the 1050 was this year. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
That wasn't something I was shooting for. But with the consistent play, it's really brought that rating up.
Yeah.
And I mean, the goal is to win every tournament I'm at,
Well, yeah.
and I won more than half. So I mean, I guess that's doing good. So
Awesome. Now, I know a lot of people watch the USDGC coverage, and it was a pretty tense playoff there. Tell us kind of what goes through your head whenever you go into those really tense playoffs for those big titles.
I mean, they're fun because any bad shot's gonna, be the end of it. And it's not really the mindset you have when you go into the tournaments. You want to have as few mistakes as possible. But when it comes to a playoff, whoever makes the first mistake loses. And I don't know, just Will. I don't think I've ever beat him in a playoff. We've had multiple ones, and I think he's got me in all of them. So I need to figure out how to get over that hump.
Yeah. Now, I know the NTs are kind of, the NTs are over and things like that, but is there really an off season for Paul McBeth?
Yeah, finally.
Oh, really?
Finally. This winter, VPO is my last one next weekend.
Okay.
And then it's nothing until the Australia. It's just training and working. So, I mean, you can call it an off season because I'm not playing tournaments, but I'm still working to get better and improve. And this one would typically be a longer off season than normal, but with Australia being in January, it kind of cuts it short. But this is kind of probably going to be my first true off season.
Now, off season for you, does that mean less playing, more playing, casual rounds, or what is an off season practice for you?
Probably more playing, more, I guess, technical things. I'm not on the course playing. Okay. I'm more like indoors training, working my body mentally, trying to regroup, and then just getting release and trying to get consistency. I'm not going out there and throwing the course, like I said, but I'm going to be indoors throwing into a net and trying to get the form dialed in to where I could just go out and throw any shot I want. And so it's going to be a lot of training off the course.
Off the course?
Yeah.
Would you say that I mean, a lot of people like to take breaks and not play for a while and give their body a break, but would you recommend that for people that are going to train for next year?
If you're touring all the time and playing every day, then you kind of need those breaks, let your muscles, regroup, because if you're throwing over and over and over, you're just going to stretch them. So letting them regroup and do that stuff, I think breaks are good, and mentally it's a relief not going every weekend worrying about a tournament. Yeah.
Now, I know a lot, if you guys don't know, Paul McBeth has on Spin TV on that YouTube channel.
Yes.
You do kind of like I guess you say like a web reality series where your brother kind of follows you around and stuff like that. What's that like to always have a camera in your face?
I wish he had it more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he misses a lot of things that go on the road, but it was pretty good to try it out and work on it, and it's cool because people like seeing that stuff. It's something that hasn't been filmed before and things like that. So it was pretty cool and a neat experience, and hopefully it grows into something more.
Yeah, so 2015 you'll be doing some more of that?
I don't know. My brother won't be with me next year, so we'll see.
I was kind of surprised not see him here at Oklahoma Open.
Yeah, he left right after USDGC,
so
there was a pretty lengthy break between these two events. So
cool. Now, something away from disc golf, I guess. What if you weren't playing disc golf, what would you be doing right now?
Shoot, I'm 24 now. Probably finishing up. I don't know, doing something. I don't know if it would be like a typical job though. Yeah. Because I played sports growing up my whole life, so it'd probably be coaching like baseball or doing something like that. But I don't think it'd be a normal type of job.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, I remember a while back you played a lot of baseball, right?
Yeah, up until 2011.
Yeah. Do you miss that at all, or do you kind of follow any baseball?
Once in a while. I can't follow it as much being on the road all the time. I don't know the schedules. I can't watch games and things like that. I'm getting a lot more into football because of it's going on in the winter when I'm not playing, and so that's more exciting. But I do miss baseball once in a while. Just the action of having a ball hit to you and being up, having a pitcher right in front of you. So I miss that excitement once in a while, but I get the same feeling from disc golf in such things like the playoffs and the majors.
Oh yeah, for sure. Where do you see Paul McBeth in 5 years?
Hopefully, a few more world titles.
Yeah.
Still number one. But I mean, that's the goal. But I have no clue where I'll be next year. So to shoot 5 years, I mean that's a jump. But doing disc golf, still playing tournaments, doing all that stuff, and hopefully getting closer to Kenny.
Getting close to Kenny, yeah, that'd be
Hopefully.
nice, yeah. Now, for all the people that are watching that are aspiring to maybe go touring and become pro, what advice would you give them?
Practice a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, it can be expensive.
yeah,
I mean, that's probably the hardest thing for most people is financially. You know, if you want to go test it out for a month or something, save up, go try it out, see if you like it. I wouldn't say go full on tour for 1 year. And like Johnny, it took Johnny years,
Yeah.
10 years,
Yeah.
15 years, who knows, until he finally went on his first tour. He's loving it, but I don't know if we'll see him next year.
yeah. What mistakes would you say that you wish you would have known that you learned within the last couple years touring?
Mistakes? I don't know. I've enjoyed, pretty much
Yeah.
every minute of it. Maybe play a little bit less. I know down the line somewhere I'm going to want to enjoy the places I go more.
Right.
But right now I just want to play tournaments and win tournaments. I can go back and enjoy those places later or look back on it. But, yeah, I wouldn't say I have any mistakes. Maybe just play fewer tournaments. But,
Cool.
yeah.
All
We'll
right. Well,
see.
thank you very much, Paul. Appreciate your time with us.
Thank you.
As mentioned before, Eric McCabe and myself, we do a podcast called the Disc Golf Answer Man, where we answer disc golf questions that people submit through discgolfanswerman.com. Be sure to go there to check out more information on this show. Now, some of the questions we got in, we thought, wouldn't it be better to answer these questions with video? So we're going to do that with a few questions every now and then here on dynamicdisc.tv. This first one is from Lucas, and Lucas sends in a question about spin putting versus push putting. And Lucas, as a thank you, we're going to give you $25 credit to be used at the online store at dynamicdisc.net. So be looking for that email from myself. Now, let's get to Lucas's question. He says, "Hey Bobby and Eric, I'm a push putter. However, I know you, Eric, are a spin putter. Lately, I found myself in some awkward situations on the putting green, around trees or in bushes, where I don't have enough room to use my normal putting style, and I've had to use a spin putt due to the lack of space. Personally, I've struggled with consistency with this more explosive style of putting, which is why I use the slower, more controlled spin putt. How do you keep your putting as consistent as it is with the spin putt?" So let's take a look at Eric's answer.
Thanks for the question, Lucas. The way I stay consistent with my spin putting is repetition. Lots and lots of practice, spending hours upon hours practice putting. And another way I can stay really consistent is with the spin putt. It's pretty much the same release, no matter if it's a 10-footer, a 15-footer, a 30-footer, even a 40-footer. I'm on that same release, the same angle, which is why the repetition comes into play. You bring up a good topic, Lucas. Push putting, spin putting, what's the difference? Well, push putting is typically done with a fan grip on the disc. And it's more of a loft or a toss in as opposed to a throw in. Most players do use a straddle putt. Typically you line up as a straddle, and it's more of a motion, more of a toss in motion with the fan grip. And most people don't understand it. It's not like a real just throw. There is actually spin on the disc when it is putted in the basket. Spin putting. I'm from Kansas, so naturally I'm a spin putter. Here's the reason why. It's typically always windy out here in Kansas. Therefore, the push putt doesn't really work as well for me, because if you get the disc up in the air, up in the wind, it's usually not going to either make it to the basket, or it's just going to be too floppy and not fly the way you want it to. That's why I'm more of a spin putter. If it's more of a throwing motion as opposed to a toss. Here's my grip. It's a modified power fan grip. I have my fingertips on the flight plate of the disc with my index finger curling over the rim. For my stance, it's typically the same stance. You can do a straddle putt with spin putting, but I recommend the staggered stance with my front plant foot being off just a little bit, not quite facing directly at the basket, but just off. And you want to remember, when you're spin putting, you got to find that same link and come from the hip as opposed to a motion. You want to come from the hip, following through, grabbing that chain. So spin putting versus push putting. It's really just personal preference. The best way to do it is get out to a practice field and practice, practice, practice.
All right, well, that's our show for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure, again, go to discgolfanswerman.com, send in your questions for the podcast, and your question might actually be here on the show. Go to dynamicdisc.tv to watch this video and as well as other videos from other episodes. And make sure, wherever you're watching this, Facebook or YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and share it so we can spread the good word of disc golf. So we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Ready. Okay.
As mentioned, discgolfanswerman.com, we do, we're going to have a $25 credit for you in the store. Stupid.
And they're also going to use the straddle. To people's
Oh, why am I so much higher than you?
Do that again. Okay.
Alright, Wyatt. You were supposed to say, hold on. Oh.